flag? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be advised that the meeting tonight is being recorded. And we'll have the approval for the deletion of the minutes from March 14, 2019, agenda meeting, the regular meeting, and deletion of those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to delete at a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We'll move to public comment. If you wish to speak, step up to the podium and identify yourself.
I'll go first. Hello, my name is Dr. Alan Siegel. I'm a retired surgeon. I live here, and I'm also the chairman of the Planning Commission for this township. Very nice to see you gentlemen again. I am thoroughly confused about the recycling that's going on. Formerly, we could recycle glass. So we were told not to recycle glass. I removed the glass, and yet the recycling company came by, apparently with the person who is in charge of the particular company. Refresh my memory. It's not Valley Refuse.
Young.
It's Young. Okay. And inspected each of the cans along the street, is what I was told from the secretary. Now, I brought a picture of what I had in my, pardon the expression, what I had in my can. And they took the paper that was there, but I have all this plastic in there without any glass. And yet somewhere in here, they're alleging that there's something that prevented them from taking the entire amount. Now, I looked up on waste management. The suggestion was made, I think on the website, to look up what waste management recommended. And waste management says recycle your glass. It says they don't take polystyrene, which I don't understand because that's easily reduced to cinder from what I understand, and if you don't, it stays in the environment forever. So that would be something I'd want to see recycled, melted down, done something with. They will not take plastic bags that you get from the supermarket or whatnot. These plastic bags are then we're being asked to put them in regular trash and taken to landfills. Now, previously, they would take the glass. Now they're not taking the glass. I wonder if that's a violation of their contract. Is there a contract between us and Young?
Yes.
There
We have
is.
a 2-year contract.
And when is that up?
Well, that's for this year and next year.
This year and next year. I would ask that maybe a different company be looked at who would take the glass. I don't understand why they won't take the glass. They make reasons for it, and yet Waste Management Corporation says put the glass in. Perhaps instead of paying an amount to Young, the township could take that money and work out a discounted rate with one of the refuse companies to just take trash altogether, pass on the savings by combining it all, instead of having the recycling done. Because right now, they're really not recycling a lot of things. However, someone could tell me why they left that. And that's my suggestion, and I'd like to certainly hear from Young and why this is so. It doesn't make any sense to me. Glass is something that could be melted down. Waste Management says to put your glass in it, and we're referred to the Waste Management site to decide what to put in there, and yet they're telling us not to put glass in. Just doesn't make sense to me. I thank you.
Richard, got any comments? Anything to say?
Well, I was the same opinion. In fact, I was thinking we should have probably pulled the contract, because once they said they couldn't do glass anymore, that's probably a violation of the contract.
I have to check the contract to see how it's written. Whether it's just glass and cans, or it includes plastic too and glass, I don't know. A little bit I read about it was that glass causes more contamination. I don't know how, but that's what I was reading.
We're told to wash out glass containers that have food, and I think that's only right. I mean, you don't like seeing that around. We've done it all the time, and they've always taken the glass. Now we're told that they're not taking the glass, and it's some sort of safety hazard. Now, the following week, they came around, and without even looking in the can, took what was ever there and dumped it in a regular trash truck instead of their usual recycling truck. So I don't know what's going on with
Okay,
it.
we'll check with our
Yeah.
caller. And I do understand that waste management is, young is only a pimple compared to waste management.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But that's what is on our website, and it shows waste management, so it's sort of like damned if you do and damned if you don't, Frank. What can I say?
We'll talk to Mr. Young about that.
Appreciate it.
We'll get an answer.
Thank you.
Kristen, could you please provide me a copy of the agreement between Young and
Yes.
Patterson Township via email, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Make us all a copy.
Gotta put everybody
Oh.
else.
I'll make everyone copies.
Put it in the mailbox. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else step forward? What's your name? Anybody? Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
You could have stayed right there.
Oh.
You're blocking this.
Again, I talked to a policeman and he advised me to bring pictures. We're having trouble. I'm Beverly Rabowski. I live on Figley Street. We're having trouble. A new couple moved in last fall, and they seem like very nice people. But you can see the red car in that picture. It has been parked there. I think it's only moved 2 to 3 times. They've had it towed a couple times, but for the vast majority of time, it sits in that spot, which is not even their property. They live on the opposite side of the street where we live. The white car in the picture is a man who lives across the street 2 to 3 days a week. He comes and stays with his step-in-laws, and he always parks on the street. But since the new couple have moved in, you can see where the black SUV is. There's often a car parked there. Most of the time when anyone comes to visit them, that's where the car parks. I've even seen it completely in the middle of the street so that no one can get up or down the street. The problem is we have a rock wall, a retaining wall built that we have to keep the land in place. And it's extremely difficult to get in once those cars are parked there. In fact, we now have to pay to have it rebuilt because someone backing in knocked the rock wall down. They couldn't get in with everything parked across the street. So I'm here to ask if we could possibly have a no parking sign put on that side of the street so that we can just get in and out of our driveway. I mean, if there were emergency, we couldn't get
Well,
out.
what we'll do is we'll have our police chief go over there and do a survey and determine whether or not we should do that. And I understand what you're saying. It only permits one-way traffic in the car when they park on the side over there. Most of those cars parking over there, are they owned by the people living on Figley Street?
The red one is.
See, there's not too many houses, are there? 8 or 9 houses on Figley Street?
Yeah, not too many. The red one, as I said, they bought the house, I think it's 1908. But the car just remains parked. It's not even driven much. And it's not on their property.
Properly licensed, you know?
People across the street own it, and they're concerned they can't even cut the grass this summer because the car is on their land. As I said, the white car is there about 2 to 3 days a week, It's a person who lives with the people across the street who actually are on Stephen Hill. It's in their backyard. But it's the black, where the black SUV is, when they park there, it's virtually impossible. We've had company that cannot get out of our driveway to go home because a car is parked there. There's just not enough room. If the vehicle's a truck or whatever, people can't get in and out.
Okay, we'll check it out with our police department to check into that. There's a couple of items over there that need looked into, I think.
Oh, you know
Maybe
what?
the boat, I know you.
While I'm here, in that picture, you can also see a sewer grate.
A what?
A sewer grate.
Oh, yeah.
And it has been deteriorating for several years now. A couple of years ago, the workers were over there on the street. My husband mentioned it to them, and they simply said to him, well, put some cement in there. But it's not up to us. I wouldn't dare touch it. It's not ours. My concern is it's getting so bad that if somebody runs over it, either a car is going to go through or a human being, because it's deteriorated very, very
It's
badly.
storm sewer, Mr. Newman, maybe you could have the road department check that out.
Sure.
The storm sewer, we'll check that out.
This needs to be reinforced a little
Sure,
bit.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Abigail Reeder. I live on Highland Avenue, and I live with my husband and my 2 sons. I am here today to formally request 2 amendments be made to Patterson Township Ordinance 182-10, specifically 2 additions to Schedule 4 182-46. I respectfully request a no turn left amendment be added to the intersection of Highland Avenue and 8th Street. One be placed to designate no left turn when traveling east on 8th Street to disallow traffic from turning left onto Highland Avenue. And one to be placed to designate no left turn when traveling south on Highland Avenue to disallow traffic from turning left onto 8th Avenue. My requests for these amendments are made due to the blind nature of the intersection coupled with the high risk of collision. My husband and I, along with visiting family and friends, already forego turning left on either circumstance as we recognize the dangers of doing so. We believe the danger to be significant enough to request amendments to the current ordinance. Including the request of petition signed by other residents who also reside on Highland Avenue as a testament to the Board of Commissioners of the agreement of the majority of the affected residents in favor of this request. And I thank you for listening.
Could you provide us a copy with your request here?
You want this?
We need something.
The petition's up there. You can have this if you like.
I mean,
That
this is only
So
the
that's-
petition.
This is what I wrote.
Yes.
And
It's
so,
describing all these intersections.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at.
so the reason why I'm asking this is last week I almost got T-boned pulling out of my driveway by my neighbor because he was turning left on going up 8th Street and turning left onto Highland, and I live right on the corner of those 2 streets. And my driveway is literally right there. And I always have my kids in the car, and probably once a month I get hit because no one's paying attention to turning. Because when they turn really close to my driveway, and he actually blamed it on me that I almost hit him when he in fact wasn't paying attention, and then proceeded to try to come after me as I was driving by like
Yeah.
a crazy person. But I would really appreciate if
We'll provide this recommendation to the police chief and the police department. They'll go over there and they'll do a survey.
Yeah, because I had a code enforcement come, and he suggested maybe having a no left turn on 8th Street going on to Highland, and also from Highland to 8th Street turning left, because it's a blind spot, and people coming up 8th Street or 8th Avenue, they don't see cars coming because it's a blind turn.
If I could make a suggestion.
Yes.
It would be useful to take a few pictures of the
I
area.
meant
so
to
that-
today, but my kids were just not listening.
That's such a short span
Yeah.
going up 8th Street Hill.
Hey, and I live right there, and it's, you come around the bend, and it's, I meant
Yeah,
to take
I'm
pictures
quite
today, but I
aware.
just wasn't able to
Okay,
Yeah, that's.
go, but,
we'll check you.
yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
She's coming.
Do you need my
down
phone number on there or
Highland
anything to call, or?
8th Street Hill.
Because I didn't put it on there because I forgot.
This is HB.
Yeah.
You see how close
Okay,
it
Barney.
is to the
Frank, what she's
You
asking
can
is
see it's a blind
we put
curve.
a no left turn on a state highway. We don't have that authority.
It's very difficult.
No, we
Eighth
can't
Street
do nothing on
is
Darlington Road.
It's
It's not Darlington,
She's
it's
talking about 8th Street.
8th Street.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
coming
That's
up
a
8th
state
Street
highway.
onto
That's-
Darlington Road.
That's.
On-
Oh, 8th Street
a
is
state
a
highway.
state highway also.
But can you do it from Highland to 8th Street?
You can't do anything without approval from the
How
state.
do I get the state involved? Because if the state owns Darlington Road right there, that
Yeah,
sign came up
and
pretty fast.
8th Street
State
is
owns 8th
state
Street,
highway.
the state owns Darlington Road.
But
So
you
we
guys
can't put any
maintain it.
signage on 8th Street or Darlington Road.
We maintain Darlington Road and snow removal.
For snow.
But the state pays us to do that.
So who can I speak to about the state about putting signs up?
I think we have that number, do we not? We have a number in Bridgeville, we have the state.
Yeah, probably.
We'll get that.
Probably get that. But
Thank
that's
you.
what I'm saying, that's a state, so you'd have to.
We'll get
ask-
that number for you.
From the
Okay.
state, you'd
Thanks.
have to see if they
Where we
want to
have it. Next.
The last time I appeared, I'm Ken Yonke from Patterson Township. I live at 1806 6th Street. And I'm just getting rid of a cold, so bear with me. The Times article that appeared this week is very troubling to me. I don't know if you read it, but that's the one about the Blackhawk schools, about the facilities.
Yeah, I did read
You
it.
read the article? I'm sure that everybody got the paper, read it, and I attended the meeting, and I don't agree with this article at all. The most logical argument, the logical plan was omitted. They never brought it up. The least costly, all of these cost more money than is necessary. We can save millions of dollars if we do the right thing and have great schools. We've had great schools. We've had children going to Patterson, going to Northwestern. And the reason I'm here is because they want to close Patterson. That's where this is going. And our community needs that school. A good school in a community really does a lot to bond the community together. They want to close Northwestern, they want to close Patterson, they want to build a new school in Chippewa. And I take exception to that.
Was one of the recommendations to build onto Patterson Township and not close it? Wasn't that one of the recommendations?
That is the recommendation of the architect. I talked to the architect. I talked to him yesterday. The architect said the best bang for your buck is to add on to not add on to Northwestern, but to refurbish Northwestern and to add on to Patterson Elementary. The state of Pennsylvania has certain standards about school configuration. A middle school is anything like 5, 6, and 7, 6, 7, and 8, or 5, 6, 7, 8. Any one of those configurations is acceptable to the state. And we should live with that. Patterson should be a K through 4 school. We would have to add maybe 6 and 7 classrooms. We already have 10 classrooms. We have offices there. We have nurses' spaces. We have a library. We have a lot of good facilities there. And the building is in great shape. No reason to close Patterson School. I mentioned the problem of the cost. These numbers are wrong. We can do it for as much as 8 or 9 million less than they're talking about in here. I built 3 schools as a superintendent. I was superintendent for 28 years. I know a little bit about building, working with architects, working with plans, working with the state on specifications, and I know that this can be done. We just have people right now on that committee. Let me tell you about the committee that met. Only 15% of them represented Patterson or Northwestern. Northwestern is made up of Darlington Township, Eden Valley, and South Beaver, and a little part of Chippewa. They have 1,000 students going to the schools now in Region 1. We are Region 3 here in Patterson. We have Patterson Heights, Patterson Township, and a portion of Chippewa. We have 750 students here who attend our schools, a total of about 2,450 or 2,500. Strangely enough, I learned that 181 of our students in this community go to other schools than Blackhawk. I was a little bit surprised about that because that costs a lot of money too. And why do they do that? Well, parents want to send their children to the school they think is going to serve them best. I feel that we have done a good job. Blackhawk is ranked among the top schools out of the 15 in Beaver County for over 25 years. And that's with neighborhood elementary schools and a middle school and a high school. The Chippewa building, the configuration of it is very difficult. If you've ever been in it and walked around it, it is the oldest building. It was built in the 30s. So I feel that the influence that's coming here is coming from people on the board, for the most part, who live in Chippewa, who live in near the school, near Highland, what they call Highland Meadows, over in that area. There's a lot of influence. The president of the board lives over there. And I don't criticize school board members. I don't agree with them. I think they should be logical in their decisions. They should be cost effective in their thinking. They should do the right thing and include the entire Blackhawk community, which is Region 1, Region 2, and Region 3, not just Region 2. The composition of people that attended that meeting, for the most part, were administrators who don't even live in the Blackhawk School District, who are influencing, they're driving this whole thing, and employees. There was only a handful of people who were just citizens like me. Most of them were employees of the district and subsequently influenced greatly by the administration. The recommendation, as I said, from Eccles. Eccles is the architectural firm. They're very good. They've built fine schools. I've been in their buildings, and they recommended, and I have it in writing, the best bang for your buck is to renovate. It's less costly per square foot, and to keep Patterson and Northwestern. Another thing that's going on right now is our children are on buses for an hour and a half a day. We're talking about young children, 10 years old. They shouldn't be on a bus for an hour and a half. That's necessary, I guess, because of the consolidation at bids right now, which was supposed to be a temporary solution to a problem we were going to deal with later. Kids are eating lunch at 10:30 in the morning. By the time they get home at night, they're exhausted and they're starved. One of the principals, an elementary principal, spoke about the cost, the additional cost of having Northwestern was $546,000. That's not true at all. She forgot to subtract the same cost for bids. Just remember, you moved your offices from over on, was it Ridge Avenue or Ridgeway or what it was, over here. You brought your staff with you, right? You didn't bring your electric bills and your gas bills and your storage bills from over there. You have new bills, which this is very nice. It was a good decision. I'll comment on that. But she forgot to take the 500 and some thousand that is in Chippewa. So we're going to save another $500,000 by closing the Biz building and then selling it because it has commercial real estate value. I'm a proponent of neighborhood schools. I've always been that way since the inception. I was here at the beginning, whenever we were in court and we testified to have Blackhawk, we were in Harrisburg, to have the Blackhawk School District separate itself, and Northwestern Blackhawk and Highland went together and built their own school and called it Blackhawk. Beaver Falls and Big Beaver went to school together, and Coppell, and they built their school. And both schools had between 3,700 and 4,200 students. I'm in favor of that. I don't think larger schools are necessarily great. And it bothers me also about this idea of building a new school in Chippewa. There's going to be too many students in that building. And they lose identity when you do that. And their development during those years is critical. What goes on from the time they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is probably more important than what happens later. As I said, I don't want to criticize the board. I just think they're being influenced somehow, and we really are not getting representation from the taxpayers, the ones that are going to pay the bill. And we can do it for a lot less than their 40, 50 million they're talking about. That's outrageous. Penn Hills has done that. Penn Hills is in deep trouble right now. When you spend too much money in capital expenditures, then you don't have it for instruction. And I think that's what they're doing. And the other thing is, by taking tax dollars out of the pockets of our citizens here, those are dollars you need too. You should not have to compete with the school board for tax dollars to take care of the township. Because you have services here that are needed, and I know that your finances are stretched. So that's just another reason. I'm not being patronizing to the Patterson Township commissioners. I'm just telling you, it's a fact. I'm happy to pay my school taxes, and I pay a good bit. And I don't mind that, and I never will mind it. But I don't see wasting millions of dollars and have nothing more to show for it than what we would have if we do it another way. I want to have K through 4 here, K through 4 at Patterson, 5, 6, 7, 8, the middle school. The middle school, if you look at the enrollment, can easily handle those students. And the middle school is 5, 6, 7, 8. I built one at Riverside that way. I'm asking you as a governing body here at Patterson Township to just write a letter. Sit down with each other and talk about it and craft a letter to the Blackhawk School Board and tell them that you really object to the closing of the Patterson building. I go over there a lot of time in the evening. I see teams playing ball over there, kids playing basketball. I've been to their Christmas shows and their other open houses, and there is a good community spirit here. I don't want to lose that. That's important to the community. These articles in this paper, some of them are true, some of them make sense, some of them do not make sense, and you can't be influenced by facts that are improper or out of line. I show you the ballot. They had a ballot. They voted. Now, who voted? Not the taxpayers. The employees voted. Sure, they want a shiny new school. Maybe they want a shiny new car too. You have to go with what you can afford. We cannot afford to spend that amount of money on a new school in Chippewa Township when we can do the same thing and have, I think, a better education, especially for the younger children, by spending less money and keeping Patterson and keeping Northwestern. That's all I have to say. Thank you. I'll take this
Mr.
question.
Yelke,
Yes.
if I ask you a question, I don't know how far you went with your architect, but I was always under the impression when they built the elementary school that it was prepared to be a second floor.
You're right.
That
You're
is
correct.
true?
You're correct.
Okay, that's the way I understood
Yes.
it.
In fact, he reminded me of that Tuesday when he talked to me.
Now, also, there was an issue of elevators in the elementary school. Could those elevators be built on the outside of the building if there were a second floor added?
I've never built a school that had elevators in it, so I can't respond to that.
That was-
You can. And we've seen them in hotels where they put them on the outside of the building, yeah.
That was the criticism I'm hearing from some.
Mostly, you need it for hauling heavy equipment up and down.
And the second
Any
question.
other, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Second question I have for you, where is the new building going to be built?
Well, if you read the tea leaves, as I think I do, they want to build it at Highland and add it to the Highland building. And even the architect will tell you there's not adequate, they'd have to buy land over there. They have playground space, but I don't see that's a good idea. And also the traffic congestion is going to be worse than it is now, and it's pretty bad now. Any other questions? I'll be happy to answer.
Are you a member of the school board?
I'm sorry?
You are a member of the school
No,
board?
I'm not a member of the school board. I didn't come here to campaign. I'm going to run. I shouldn't be running, but I'm running just to try to see what I can do
That's okay. That's
to
you're right, yes.
create, at least look at another possibility. I think this whole thing can be done.
Well, what you
10
read
million
there
dollars
tonight
less.
is an awful lot to digest, I'll tell you that. It may be true, may not be true, I don't know, but I don't know whether this board as a whole wants to write a letter to the district. Personally, myself, I don't know enough about it to want to write a letter. Personally, I think if each one of the commissioners wish to do it on their own, they're certainly entitled to do it.
Well, Mr. Polacaro, do you agree that having a K through 4 school in Patterson Township is good for our community?
Anytime you have a school in your district, it's good for the community. Anytime. Whether it's K through 4 or K through 10, I don't care.
I talked to
Really, but
the
I-
Carter bus people, and they're telling me that they had to increase the cost to bus the kids in from
Yeah.
other places. And they only charge them for fuel and driver time if they have
I like one of the recommendations that they come up with, and that was to build on to to Patterson Elementary School.
Right.
That sounded real good.
Well, I think we can do it for 6 or 7 rooms, according to David Esposito, who is the architectural person that I've talked with. He said it'll accommodate all of the students you have in K through 4 if you add half a dozen classrooms. I'd like to see them expand the cafeteria a little bit, the multi-purpose room.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose the ball field. If you go past here, every night there's baseball games going on there. We built that baseball field in 1961. It was all the baseball fields were built at Chippewa and here and Parkfield were all done at no cost. I don't want to get into the argument about football, and I played sports, love sports, and I support it, but classrooms come first. We could have gone to Geneva and played football for $18,000. We wouldn't listen to them. They offered it. Jack Fullen, who lives right down the street here, said that Geneva would accept us and give us a long-term contract, and the schedules worked, and with $18,000 a year. We instead built a new football field out there. We've already paid $2.5 million, and it's not finished. And that money is coming out of taxpayers' dollars. It's not. It was never. They raised $117,000 so far, actual dollars. We've already paid over $2.5 million.
Okay.
Anything
Thank
else?
you.
Questions about the school?
Well, if any of the board members here have anything to ask.
Well, they could write individual letters. You could write them as a group.
Okay. We thank you, and thank you for looking after our kids.
Well, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
And I'm in the phone book, and if you want to ask any further questions in detail you think about later, call me. I'll be glad.
Thank you.
I don't have an axe to grind. All I want to do is do the right thing
Do
for
the
our
right
community.
thing. That's what we like to hear.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Young.
next.
Thank you.
Right.
Anybody else?
If I may, Mr. President, I'd like to introduce our guests for the evening, Tracy and Brian Hagar. The spelling on that is Hagar. E-R.
More of a grr.
Well, Tracy and Brian have been Wampum Chapter North Country Trail Association members for 4 years. Their North Country Trail Scenic Trail is an almost 5,000-mile long trail that runs from Vermont to South Dakota. They help to maintain and promote the 40 miles that run through Beaver and Lawrence County. Brian is our vice president of the chapter, and Tracy is a Trail Town advisor. Would you begin to tell us a little bit about what you're doing for Patterson Township, please?
Well, I work in Beaver Falls, so I go past Patterson Township Park, and we do a challenge through the Allegheny National Forest every year on the North Country Trail. And it's pretty grueling. You can do up to 100 miles, but you have to do it within 50 hours. And yeah, it's not enough time. But I was utilizing Patterson Township Park for my training for that. I use the stairs. The stairs is cool. Like it's all on a hill, so it's perfect because if you've ever been to the A&F, it's pretty hilly. So I use the park a lot for that. Plus, it's like right on my way to work, so I can stop right in. I can do a quick mile, get out. So then that's when I noticed like there's just like some stuff that we could help out with, like maintenance-wise. Because there'd be some trees down or like some of the side hilling could be cut out. So like I asked Henry if we could come in and help because my husband, he's a registered sawyer. And we've got like total, maybe like 6 years worth of maintenance. Like he said, we do 40 miles in Beaver and Lawrence counties. And then I also help with the Ohio chapter. I help them maintain 2 miles in Ohio. And we asked if we could come in and help out. And he said, yeah. So we've been helping them reblaze some of the trails. We took down some notes. I had them come with me and took down some notes about some things, like suggestions, like for the bridges. Like I said, there's some sliding happening. Because it is on a hill. So like you can cut that back, how to cut it back and stuff like that. So he said we could do like kind of like whatever we wanted to do to help out. We like getting off of our trail as much as we like working on it and hiking on it. So like we just wanted to come and say thank you because we've tried helping the county and the county doesn't really like You guys probably all know. they're kind of hesitant on having volunteers come in and help and stuff in the county parks. So we're really appreciative that we could come in and help out with the township park.
Appreciate you coming, because that park has sat idle down there for years and years, so we're glad to see it.
It's sad. It's sad. I mean, not like towards anybody else, because it takes a lot of work. I mean, sorry. But like, you know, people here talk about their community and like, you know, from recycling to the schools and all these different things. But that's a part of the community too. You know what I mean? And getting people on it, like youth, get them out. We take our boys out hiking. They'll probably hit 100 miles on the NCT this year. They're 7 and 6. They love it.
Are you going to come back with some recommendations so we can enhance that park?
Yeah, we've given them a couple so far.
Yeah.
We went out, what was it, 2 weeks ago? We went out 2 weeks ago and did about a mile's worth where we just kind of like cleared the trail, cut 3 or 4 trees that came down.
That's just the lower end. We still have the big loop to do.
Yeah, so
We know what they are. I mean, we want to be able to, since it's your community, we're not here. We got your back, and we just want to go in, clear the trail, make it safe as much as we can. A lot of the structures, like the pavilion, the staircases, and the bridges, we can kind of fix them, but it's going to take a lot of work. You got to figure we'll put in, 50? I can't remember, but it's been a long time since it was put in, and got a grant for it to put it in.
like there's some minor repairs to some of the bridges, like cost-effective ways to fix it that will make it more safe. Plus, I said a map would be great if you guys, because I have a tracking app that I've already tracked some of it, but I can hike the whole park, track it, and then put it on paper so you guys have a map that people can visit your township page and see a map.
So if it's okay with you guys, we'd like to continue to do the maintenance that we think that's good, that we can do, from cutting trees down, clearing paths. But we can come back if you want. We can put together all the things that we can't physically do on our own that will take, say, a grant or something like that to do. And we can come back and bring that to you guys so you guys can put that in the next, whether or not ODNR comes as far for you guys or, county. You know what I mean? But somewhere outside of just the regular things. Because we're doing that for East Palestine Park. We live in Ohio. They have a nice thing that goes over rivers. So they had me write up a thing so they can make it an ADA trail and be able to put bridges in, because we know how much they cost. We're building a similar bridge out in Eden Valley. It's $5,000. But if you ask them to have to build it, it could be $30,000.
Yeah, sure.
That's the thing, though. We have volunteers will come do that work. But we have to work together, so we can put something together for the big things. But
We
right
can
now,
always
we
give
just wanna do it,
suggestions too as to like other ways to get grant money, like Constellation. If you're a Constellation customer through gas and electric, as a customer you can put in for a grant for your community, and it spells out everything on their website. But like stuff like that, I found out because we were a customer, so like we can pass along information of ways that we know that there's other ways that you and the folks and the residents and stuff can find more funding to pay for the things that you want in the park.
Hopefully, all the new families that have moved into town, you know what I mean? There's this is that era where there's a shift. New young families, stuff like that, get them out there on the trail. Because right now, if I was young, we had our kids, even younger, or our kids, I don't want to take them down there. It's no offense, I mean, it's dangerous. There's to walk on a certain part of the trails where a tree had fell and stuff like that. But if we can get the basic stuff in,
I feel like what we did was
work
fast.
with you guys with the big
You know what I
stuff.
mean? Like we did a mile within like a day.
More
I
people
mean,
come
like,
back down. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Sure.
And some people don't even know what's there. They know there's a pavilion. That's about it. That's what they can see from the road. So hopefully we work with the blazes and help with the signage and give you all that kind of stuff the best we can. We know money goes to big things.
Oh, yeah. So
But if we can help outside that, basically we just want permission. Is it okay? We can do what we're doing. Because we don't want to be out there sneaking in the woods and doing this stuff, But like I said, I'm a Sawyer's, which is basically through the National Park Service on the federal level. I can cut trees down. You know what I mean? And we're protected.
yeah, so like you don't really necessarily have to worry about like liabilities if we're going in there and doing like that kind of stuff.
Digging in the hillside. We just don't want to, he knows, but we want to make sure.
Yeah, like we'll be out
you guys who
there
live
with
in
like
town
tools
know
and
that
some
we're
like,
doing
what
it,
do
you know what I mean? So
like,
know what's
you know
going
what I
on.
mean? Like
Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing and the volunteer hours that you put in. And I'm going to give you guys my phone number after the meeting. I would love to help any way I can. I served as the Park and Recreation Commissioner for several years.
That's how it starts. Now it's through.
Yeah. If you ever want to check out our trail, I have a few. I might have to bring back some more. But this is
Thank you.
we have trail maps. So like if you guys ever want to go out and just I'm bringing out. So sorry. But yeah, like The Wampum chapter does a lot of stuff for like other communities and like he was talking about Northwestern. Like we're going to be utilizing Northwestern for
This is
we're having a
this is
5K trail and road.
my name's Brian. That shows our entire
And I mean, like, from dealing with all the communities like that we pass through, we learn a lot about the communities. And like, you know, like he's really all for the school and stuff. And I understand because I hear people from Darlington talking about how it's, you know, like Northwestern and stuff. And so like we just like want to help out wherever we can. So like we appreciate you coming here and doing.
And it builds you got to keep in mind, like the only benefit for us is that we're helping you, and that you recognize we're even down the road. Because I hate to say it, a lot of people don't know we exist.
There's a lot of pride there.
You know what I mean? And we just we've learned that even though the trails doesn't come through here, it's right down there in Darlington, though, in South Beaver. It's not that far. But we've learned in the last 5-10 years that organizations work better when they work together, even though they might not have the same interests. Look at, was it Shenango Valley? It's got, what, $1 million, just shy of $1 million to fix a road.
Because
Nobody
our
cares
trail
about
runs
the trails on
about
it.
500 yards on the
You know
road.
what I mean?
So
And
they get $1 million. You know,
from
it's
that,
pretty crazy.
You gotta
but-
find those bridges, how we can help each other. So, like, hopefully, this is another way, you know what I mean? So, and the joy part is, it's for free.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you guys so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Can I talk to him for a second?
Oh, you sorry.
Yeah. Did they talk to you about the historical section of the trail?
No,
I-
yeah, she, they might have.
Sandusky?
Yes, yes,
Do you understand the history of that?
yes, and you're not allowed to do nothing there.
I mean,
The Sandusky Trail, right?
right.
Yeah.
You understand that came from the 1700s,
Yeah.
and that's the only existing place in the Sandusky Trail that's left in the United States.
But you see, and stuff like that should be showcased. You know, like when we have different parts of our trail, we
And
put up a
also,
sign and stuff.
it's illegal to dig in that. In other words, you can take the trees down on either side or something, but the actual trail, you have to have an archaeologist there if you
Yeah.
decide to do anything. Because we wanted to run a sewer line down
Yeah.
through there, we had to have an archaeologist, and they had to do that and everything. But that was very important in the 1700s, because the Indians used to come from Sandusky down through the township, down Falston Hill, or down the Narrows, as they
Yeah.
called it, and then went all the way down to Westmoreland County and would raid. And then the rangers and the settlers from Westmoreland County would then chase them all the way back through here to Sandusky every spring. And that's where, and you know, of course, Brady and some of those other folks were involved, and it became very famous. But that's the only piece that I'm aware of that hasn't been developed.
Wow.
Because it used to go all the way out to Darrington,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the end.
crossed over your trail in Darrington, went on the way to Youngstown and all up. And I have all the documentation on it. And
So it'd be nice to like,
so, you know.
you
it's
should
just-
like send like that info.
And you can
to
see
me,
where it's
because
at. I mean, it's.
when I make the map, I can include that
Yeah.
piece of information on there.
Signage, you know what I mean, so people know what they're standing on. you know,
I would
you know.
probably have some maps on that whole map.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, when it comes to trail stuff, it's very little disturbed.
Because originally, when we bought that property, we bought 25 acres, and then we bought 25 more to make 100, well, we bought 25 acres, and then Mrs. Bigelow gave us the other 25 acres, she gave us 100, or 50, I'm sorry. And it was originally developed as a nature park. And we had a big bird watching station, and we had a lot of other things, and got grants to do all that.
Yeah.
Then they-
Because if you have historical significance, that opens you up to another whole world of.
And there's a mine there and everything, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure you knew about Sandusky Trail, because
Yes.
if you get in there and you dig anything up, you can get yourself into hot water.
Yeah, but yeah, if anything you have like that on the card, even though it's a general email, it comes to all of us. Anything you have or paperwork and stuff, send it. You know what I mean? Because that way we can incorporate that stuff. But
Well, the whole thing's written up in the township history, but you probably
Yeah.
get your copy of the township
yeah,
history.
because how we do everything, it's like a 4x6 corridor, so we're only touching trees and stuff like, you know, anything that falls, like something that, you know, the trip and fall. But as far as the rest of that, we don't get in there. Just trails there. You know what I mean? It just needs to be safeguarded. I think that bridge, I had a nail in my mouth. Hit that bridge, I was airborne. It was horrible. You know what I mean? But it needs jacked up and some rocks and stuff like that. But I appreciate it. It's good to know because that's the things we need to
Yeah, well,
know.
that goes back to about the 1760s.
And that's important for, like I said, all these new families and kids. They got to know this stuff.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, for insurance purposes, I would like to make a motion to have the Wampum chapter, authorize the Wampum chapter of North County Trail, is that right?
North Country Trail.
Wampum chapter of the North County Trail?
North Country.
North Country Trail to continue their efforts and volunteer work at the Patterson Township Park. That's a formal motion.
I'll second that.
Second, go ahead.
So a motion, a second on the floor for them to continue their work in the township parks. Okay, we'll vote.
We have a second.
Well, we have a second. Call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All agreed.
We want to thank you for what you've done
Thank you.
already
Thank you.
and what you're about to do.
Thanks.
All right, anybody else come before the board? Anybody else?
Okay.
If not, we'll move, oh,
Well, I was waiting to see if anybody else wanted to speak. I was waiting to see if anyone else wanted to speak.
why? You want to be last?
No, I was being courteous.
Atta girl.
My name is Sarah Pennell. Do I have to get my address?
Yes, and spelling of your last name?
Pennell, Pannell,
P-A-P-A.
like P in Pittsburgh. And I'm running for controller of Beaver County. So I wanted to come and introduce myself to everybody. And I don't have any cards, but I have stickers, and I have plenty of stickers. So if anybody wants stickers to take to their children or to give to their friends, I have plenty. So anyway, that's all I wanted, just to introduce myself. I'll be running on the Republican ticket May 21st. So I do have a Republican, what's she called?
Opponent.
Opponent. I do have a Republican opponent, but, so I might not make it through the May 21st primary. Whoever's helping me, thank you so much. But anyway, if I do, and there are any Democrats in here, which I assume there are a few, you'll have till October to change your mind. I mean, November to change your mind, and then you can vote for me.
This board, as a board, we do not endorse candidates. It's up to
Oh, I know you
each
don't, I know you
individual
don't.
to
No,
do
no,
that.
no, no. I'm just here introducing myself.
Okay,
Just general information.
thank you and good luck.
I'm not asking for any, whatever,
Endorsement.
endorsement.
Well, thank you very much, anyway,
Thank you.
and good luck. Anybody else to come before the board? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the treasurer's report by our secretary, Christine Milnes.
The opening balance for the general fund as of February 28, 2019 was $324,404.57. Total deposits, $336,381.75. That was the total deposits. Total checks and debits is $96,903.09, leaving the balance as of March 31st, $563,883.23. Opening balance for the sewer account as of 2/28 is $124,357.38. Total deposits and credits, $71,057.25. Total checks and debits, $12,773.16, leaving the balance as of March 31st, $182,641.47. The ending balance for the general fund Pliget account, $153,653.30. Sewer fund Pliget account, $43,663.89. General capital fund, $65,081.36. The Pliget liquid fuels account, $273,695.65. Fire truck capital fund, $138,471.07. Sewer maintenance Pliget account, $230,850.94. And the Pliget Community Day Fund, $118.59.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved.
A motion, we have a second.
Second.
A second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So ordered. We need a motion to pay the March and April
Mr.
bills.
President, if I may,
Yes.
we have a transfer we'd like to consider. Make a motion.
Oh, yeah, okay, I thought you were gonna get that under another line. Okay, go ahead, yes.
Okay, Mr. President, I think it'd be best if we made this into two motions altogether. I'd like to propose the first one, as you heard from our secretary, we have, currently there's $562,437.18 in the general fund account at West Banco. Based on prior practices and high balance which is occurring in the West Banco general fund account, I am making a recommendation to transfer $400,000 from the general fund to the Pliget general fund investment account. That is my motion, Mr. President.
Okay, we have a motion to transfer $400,000 to the Pliget investment account. Do we have a second?
Under
Rado, second?
Under discussion, how will that 400,000 be invested?
That was going to be my second motion. We could discuss that in the second motion if we could. So we have a motion on the floor?
Yeah, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Call for the vote. Mr. Hoover?
I need to hear where we're transferring it to.
Question on the motion.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would like to see the motion include where you're putting the 400,000.
I was going to make that as a second motion,
Understood.
follow up to this one.
Okay, your first motion was to do 400,000.
Right.
And we have a motion, we have a second on that. Now, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all ayes?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Will you proceed on with Mr. Mahosky with
Okay,
the...
my second motion involves how that 400,000 is be distributed. I would like to put $250,000 into a fixed account for 120 days at 2.47%. That would be a fixed rate of 2.47%. And the other 150,000 I would like to put into the Pliget Prime, which is currently paying a 2.52%, but it is a liquid account and it fluctuates.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second on those transfers.
Second.
Second, Mr. Brado, Mr. Inman? Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Mahosky, yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Thank you, Mr. President.
We had a motion to pay, we need a motion to pay the bills for April, March and April.
Move to pay March and April bills as presented.
Second.
Motion and second to pay March and April bills as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Move on to the engineer's report. Glenn?
Okay, go to the monthly report. The first item, the MS4 program. I think we'll have a meeting with Kristen to go over the MS4 program. You're one of the few communities that haven't had their DEP inspection / audit yet. So we do anticipate that happening this year. So we'll have a preparation meeting to talk about that once the call comes in, that we're prepared for that. Second item is the 2019 road program. We do have the bid opening tonight. In your packet is the bid sheet on the second page. And with it being the appointed time, I'll go ahead and open the bid for the 2019 roadway improvement program for Patterson Township liquid fuels contract. First bid received is from Shields Asphalt Paving of Valencia. Total amount of bid for Shields paving is $249,615.29, 249,615.29, and a bid bond is attached. Pennsylvania National. Second bid received is from Protec Asphalt Maintenance Incorporated of Newcastle. Bid price of $247,302.00. 247,302.00. Bid bond is attached. Old Republic Surety Company. Third bid received is from Felino Construction Incorporated out of Oakmont. Bid bond is attached with CNA surety. Total amount of bid of $236,995.42, 236,995.42. Last bid received is from Youngblood Paving Incorporated of Wampum, Pennsylvania. Bid bond is attached with the Great American Insurance Company. Bid price of $229,540.00, 229,540.00. It's the first time I read a bid where it went constantly down. So it'd be appropriate if you would want to award the bids contingent on our review, with the low apparent bidder being Youngblood Paving Incorporated.
Did you check the specs and everything, and we'll vote on it before the meeting is over? Is that okay with the street man? We'll come back to you. You got anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, we'll move on to the solicitor's report.
Nothing on our agenda for this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. Committee reports, Mr. Hoover.
Yes, I have two things this evening. To submit for payment, a total of 10 hours representing $65 in payment to Patterson Township Volunteer Fire Company. That represents 10 calls for the month. It's in the form of a motion.
$129,000.
So moved.
A motion and second to pay volunteer fire department $65, 10 hours work. The motion, we have a second. If all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 The second thing I have is just an FYI. The Patterson Township Volunteer Fire Company and Patterson Heights Volunteer Fire Company have engaged again in the discussions of merging both departments. We had a discussion last year. There was a change in leadership at the chief and assistant chief level, and discussions kind of fell off. I have rekindled that discussion amongst the two parties. We are establishing a committee in the month of April, and we expect to be able to present something to both parties, being Patterson Heights and Patterson Township, no later than June. Any questions on that? Progress. We're making progress. Slowly, we're making it. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Mahosky, Parks and Recreation. Finance.
I think I've already completed my finance part of it, Mr. President.
Okay.
And as far as the Parks and Recreation goes, I believe that Tracy and her husband filled us in on that. I believe we're good to go.
I'm going to mention on your evaluation.
The evaluation forms, I'm sorry about that. I found another form that I was going to propose to the board tonight. I found it most recently, and it was worth looking into further, and so we're going to table that till the next month, so we can have a chance to review the evaluation forms.
Thank you.
In total. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Inman, Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to start on number 2 on mine while they're working on number 1. I wanted you to know that I met with the Conservation District about the law on Highland Avenue. Met with Marcy Marshall, the watershed specialist for the Conservation District, and she gave me a lot of information that I've been trying to see whether it's applicable to what we want to do. But it's stormwater management processes and different sort of ways of doing how to create your own rain garden. What this amounts to is that MS4, you get credit. You have to, by 2022, you have to have reduced somewhere between 5 and 20% of your problems as far as rainwater is concerned and what may get into the environment and that kind of thing. So last year we obtained a lot on Highland Avenue that was, over the years, kind of a derelict lot with people not cutting the grass, it being undersized, no one wanted to buy it, that kind of thing. So the township took it over. And what the reason for it was that all of the rain on the very large parking lot of the United Methodist Church and most of the Highland Avenue section of the Highland Avenue watershed all comes into a single pipe and runs over the hill and runs down over the hill and runs into North Branch Bridge Run. So anyway, having said that, what we want to do is try and see if we can do a demonstration project and maybe see if we can get some grants or something like that, but that's coming. We don't know, we don't have all the information on how to do it yet. Because I've went to Conservation District up in Blair County and saw their stormwater management practices, and they were using a rather large lot, but it was acres. So it doesn't apply to what we have. Ours is just a small municipal lot. But in any case, they're talking about signage and a lot of other things and maybe helping us do some of that. And so it's very preliminary, but I just wanted you to know that we're working on it, and I also want to work with our engineers on it, see what they have to say about what we might do. So anyway, I also have been concerned about Country Club Estates, the fact that we were getting behind in some of our road work. Also concerned about the STRU plan. We were in the STRU plan and we finished most of the roads in the STRU plan with the exception of Fox Avenue. I have been told by the engineer that there is a possibility of getting some grants from the state, but it's generally done through a legislative initiative. So what I'm hoping maybe is that next year we can do our regular road program and we can do something like this, finish the STRU plan and finish Country Club Estates with maybe a legislative grant. So I'm trying to apply for that, and I've met with Mr. Marshall's secretary, and she's trying to get me an appointment in person with Mr. Marshall. So I'm trying to see what we can do, and if that'll work, that will accelerate what we're doing in Patterson, in Country Club Estates, and of course then we'll make this return to the STRU plan. So if that happens, then and one thing we're going to do is also we're working on, and that is we're borrowing some material from the county to be able to do a dig with a narrow bucket on 19th Avenue and see if maybe we can put our own storm sewer in on that 19th Avenue. Joe's working on that project for me. We found it was going to be rather expensive to buy this bucket that we wanted, and only, we'd probably use it more than once, but.
You're talking about the 13th Street problem? 19th Avenue, 13th
19th Avenue,
Street?
yeah.
Where
Down
the
to the-
springs come out?
Yeah, where all the springs come out and everything. So we're trying to see, they wanted about $95,000 to put a new line in down the side. And that was, 3 or 4 years ago. I'm sure it's more than that now. We did a similar thing like this in Country Club Estates, and we did our own drainage there. And so we're going to try and do it here. And we'll probably be starting that within the next month or so, once things, we get some of our other issues that we have straightened out. We had some major problems on 12th Street this week, which was kind of unusual. We had a manhole, I don't know whether a truck come along or what, but we had a manhole shifted. And the whole manhole was probably shifted about that much. And of course, then that left a hole that much in the road. Unfortunately, one of the residents there saw it immediately, called us, and we went right over and whatnot. So we were able to, thanks to Joe's expertise, we were able to dig around it and whatnot, and re-brick it and move the whole thing back over, and reset the manhole and the whole 9 yards, and all it cost us was a bag of cement and 3 or 4 shovels of blacktop. So that's great. And then we had, at the other end of 12th Street, down at Glen Avenue, we had some subsidence. And we had, I went down and here's this hole about this big around, who knows how deep. I was not able to be down today, I was too busy today, but they did finish that yesterday. So thanks to Joe and Rick, it's just been really something to take care of some of these things. We also have a summer spring brush program that will be starting the first of the month. We pick up brush. It has to be tied. It can't be more than 4 foot in length. But we're going to start picking that up, and that will be the Wednesday after recycling. So in other words, if you want to know when it is, recycling is on your list of what Tuesday it is, and brush will be the following day. And that way it'll be easy to keep track of when we do that. So now, are we ready for our bid, Mr. Engineer, or are you still
30 seconds.
Still 10 seconds?
Give me another 20.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, we'll move on. We'll come back to you.
Well, it just, we're trying to get everything straightened out. It's been a hard winter on the road. And we've also been working on that problem we had over Dr. Moskovitz's. And we've got that, the new piping in, we've got that all resolved. We went down and leveled it all off now, and the only thing we have to do now down there is plant grass and that type of thing. So I thank Joe and Rick for being able to do a lot, and certainly they save the township a lot of money by some of the work that they do. And you are ready, right?
Yes, yeah, so the low bidder is Youngblood Paving at $229,540.
I move to accept that bid from Youngblood Paving in the amount of $229,540 with the bid bond from Great American Insurance.
Second.
Motion accept, and a second to accept the Youngblood bid of $229,540. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 It is done.
So I'll take these back, I'll issue the bid report, and we will issue the award letter to Youngblood.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Brado?
I just want to report on 3 projects that I'm working on, getting information. I hope to have something to the board in a couple of months. The first one is I want to get an understandable cost from Chippewa on the sewage that they treat from us. I'm going to ask for how many gallons we send to Chippewa and how much they charge us for each gallon. And I kind of want to compare this with the billing that we get to, I've got to say that I don't understand the billing that we're getting now. So that's why I want to do that. And then I found out New Brighton gives qualified firemen some tax relief. And I just have a general understanding of that program. So I want to find out from the New Brighton officials what they're doing, how is it working. And one of the reasons New Brighton did this was to attract new members. And our firemen can use new members. And then the third one, I got the way the Pittsburgh police control demonstrators. And you know they had some serious problems there. So I did get the program from Pittsburgh, and I'm thinking if we had demonstrations here in Patterson, would we be able to control it? I really don't think we will, but I just want to be careful in case we do. So I'm going to talk, I did get the program, I'm going to talk to the police chief and the fire chief, and I gave them a copy, and see if they think we have a need for some policy to control crowds. I know Darlington Road is under the supervision of PennDOT, and 8th Street Hill, I believe, we take care of that. Do we?
8th Street's by PennDOT.
Well, PennDOT. We take care of Folsom Hill. But anyway, I want to get that information, and hopefully in a couple of months, bring back to the board what I've found out and what recommendations should be made. So that's giving me something to do for a couple of months, and that's what I'm working on. So no board action is needed. Just when I get the plans, I will bring them to the board. That's it, Frank.
Great, thank you. Code enforcement, Mr. Morrow has submitted a report, which everybody has. If you have any questions on his report, let me know and I will approach him about it. Under the Township Police Office, the cameras for both inside the building and outside of the building are being updated. They're not completed yet. And hopefully this week they'll be done. I'll see the chief here. Okay, we'll need a motion to approve of all committee reports.
So moved.
Motion and second to accept all committee reports. Unfinished business. Township agencies, communications. Is there a letter from Black Hawk School Program? Where are they? It's from the Black Hawk Cougars football game program requesting an advertisement in their Cougar game program. And listing the size of the ad, 8.5 by 11. How's the board feel about advertising in the Black Hawk Cougars football game program?
What's the cost for it?
Cover ad $225, a center spread $225, a full page $175, half page $100, a quarter page $70, and a business card $50.
Do you have a recommendation for us?
I don't know that we've ever done that before. Paul, your expertise, did we ever do that before?
No, we haven't.
Okay, thank you.
Can we table that?
Just take this under advisement and we'll table it till the next meeting.
Oh, but it's not anything.
Any new or miscellaneous business?
Gonna close our schools.
Hearing none. No need for executive session, so a motion for adjournment would be in order.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor? Aye. Aye. So ordered.
Thank you guys for coming.